Hey yo, welcome to DDS, Detroit Raw, the Chambers Brothers, Detroit, New Crack City.
Always look out. So one day we decide, hey man, let's get serious with this shit, man. That's what me and my man said. Let's get serious with this shit. He says, let's get your brother paid off, man, and get us some shit ourselves and start stacking. He's like, okay, cool. So I called my brother Will, man Willie, and he bought me $1,000. I said, man, when I explained it to him and everything, he said, $1,000 to get it. I said, man, $1,000 to get it.
Yo, that's a cool ass brother.
Yeah. And he bought the grand over, man, and we hit my man on his little pager and shit. And he just came over like normal, like boom. Matter of fact, there's no telling what he probably had 3 or 4 pounds on him. You know? He came in, kicking in with us and everything, and he's like, what y'all need? I like went in my little pocket. I'm the big man, pulled a little grand out that I had, peeled him. I said, how much you owe you? I think he said $350, $375. Oh, counted out. So he looked like, what's going on, man? What's going on? Which we know it was just pennies for him. He's like, what's going on? I said, man, we wanted to pay you, man, and we wanted to buy us one. No, get us one from you. How much can we get one for? And I think he said like $800 and something or something like that. Paid him for that. He's like, okay, cool. Y'all trying to make something happen, huh? He gave it to us and everything. And the strangest thing happened, man. The next motherfucking day, we get busted.
Wait.
Larry, Billy Joe, Willie Lee, and Otis Chambers were 4 out of 14 children born in Lee County, Arkansas in the mid-1980s. They grew up in a cotton farming family in a primarily black, low-income, rural community. And they were subjected to de facto racism often found in parts of the rural South at this time. Their options for upward economic or social mobility were vastly limited at this time by the still prevalent color lines guarding high-ranking positions in the local firms and businesses. It was these conditions that caused Billy Joe Chambers to leave Lee County and travel up the Delta to Detroit in search of job opportunities and a future away from the farm life.
We had that time. So everybody just hung out at my house, really.
Okay.
They hung out the house and smoked with me and spent their money and come back, and we didn't make any money for real. So what happened were we did that, man, for a whole year.
Okay.
Even maybe a little longer than that. Just in and out where we had ran our tab with his brother to like maybe, I'm just gonna round it off to like $350 over the year. Over the year we had over $350. And once again he was not tripping because he sent his girl over. Hey, T, that's what we call it. He said, was y'all straight? Y'all need anything? He got some new stuff in, blah, blah, blah. I got something out in the car. Sometimes we'll say, give it to us. Sometimes it's like, we good, you know.
Billy Joe got pulled into the marijuana business shortly after arriving in Detroit and had incredible success doing it, to the point that he was originally reluctant to enter the crack cocaine market. However, a family friend introduced him to the exponential returns that he could make on crack sales, given the highly addictive and destructive nature of the drug. And from there, he took his business into crack selling. It wasn't long before his brothers trickled down into Detroit, some by way of recent jail sentences, others simply traveling from Lee County in need of work like their brother. They were soon incorporated into the business, and the Chambers Brothers drug trafficking network took off. Their reputation for violence and ruthlessness was widely known and feared. This in turn meant they were policed with violence and ruthlessness, as policing at this time held no room for de-escalation and only detainment. The Chambers Brothers' reputation, be it both truth and mythic, allowed police to justify extreme violence as collateral damage for the purpose of the greater good and sake of the community, with little, if any, questioning. The growing sense of community involvement in getting crack off the streets of Detroit meant the police were often called and encouraged by community members to take the drug kingpins out by any means necessary.
I called my brother. I think my brother even told me he heard in the guy who bought us the weed. My man brother said he heard that we had busted over. And that evening, my brother bought me another $1,000 and said that's on the house. And then his brother bought a pound over and said that was on the house.
Yeah.
So I had $1,000 in cash now and a pound of weed that I didn't have to pay for.
That's crazy.
And that raid bought me popularity. They already know I was dibbling dabbling. That's what I'm gonna call it. You know, dibbling dabbling. You know, smoking with everybody in the neighborhood, making a little money, using my house to hang out. So when that raid pulled off, people was tearing my dope off the hinges, man. Where I was able to basically every day save $1,000. That was my goal. Every day, $1,000.
The Chambers brothers' models for crack sales resembled a large corporate structure with regulations for runners as well as customer-based initiatives such as discount coupons and 2-for-1 deals on rocks. The Chambers brothers became one of the largest drug gangs in the city of Detroit, and their use of young drug runners in designated apartments and houses was especially notable. In order to understand the emergence of high-volume policing in the mid to late 1980s, understanding the infrastructure of organized gangs and the conversion of youth to low-level drug dealers is vital.
Very first crack house, 1261 Newport. It was like in 1984, the early part of 1984 when everything started. At that time, house was all up and down the street. Now it's desolate. We had a vibrant store right here, Perry's, a corner store where we all came and bought our little snacks and stuff like that. And there was so much business here. A lot of time, police had to come in this very area and patrol traffic.
Did they know what was going on?
Yeah, they know what was going on, but the laws at that time wouldn't allow them to just bum rush a house. Pretty much, they was abiding by the law.
The climate in which the Chambers brothers entered was one with a vacuum in the crack market, awaiting to be sealed. With the recent disbanding and incarceration of prolific drug cartel Young Boys Incorporated, there was left a space in the business upon which the brothers could capitalize. They quickly took over various parts of low-income Detroit neighborhoods by buying up property in which their runners could make deals, and with that, simultaneously exposing young, primarily black youth to the crack business and its extreme cash payoffs.
At that time, I was handling things personally myself. Me, my man Fly Guy, Boogaloo. We didn't need any security. You know, people were more trustworthy. It was new. This was new on the scene, so people weren't really up on what was really going on, even though they was watching it right before their very eyes.
Wow, so you're able to sell $40,000 a day without much security?
I was able to sell $40,000 a day, walk out that house with a garbage bag full of money by myself, get in my vehicle and pull off and go wherever I wanted to.
The Chambers brothers' crack ring drew national attention and outcry. Not only did media coverage highlight the rigid structure and the rules of the Chambers brothers' drug business, but the case became so high profile that Bill Clinton took time in his nomination speech for President of the United States to address the takedown of the brothers and their associates. The sheer mass of the Chambers brothers gang garnered notoriety in its own right. But as well as that, the fact that the brothers pulled young boys and teenagers from as far as Arkansas to live in the Chambers houses to peddle their drugs drew even more attention. Thus, claiming his stake in Detroit, B.J. Chambers as the real Nino Brown, Detroit, New Crack City.
He said they came for that shit. You see it ain't none on the tray? I sold it all. And then somebody, boom, boom, boom. He said, that's what they want. Go to the door now. I went to the door. Like, man, let me get 3. I'm like, we out, dog. He said, when y'all gonna have some? I was like, give us a couple hours. I'm like, I'm just,
Yeah.
I went back and like, damn, they kept coming through though. See, they gonna keep doing that. See, they gonna keep doing it. And I was like, damn, dog, where we gonna get it from? He said, my brother. I'm like, your brother got coke? He's like, yeah, he got coke. So I called him. He came over, the same expression. When we told him what we want, he's like, you want some cocaine? I'm like, yeah, man, we want some coke. And we were like, how much is it? Like $2,800 an ounce. Like, give us an ounce. So he sold us an ounce. So we didn't know how to rock it up. So we were just selling it to him in powder. Selling it to him in powder. And then they kept saying, why don't you rock it up for us? We like it rocked up, like it rocked up. It took us about, 2 or 3 weeks to learn how to rock it up.
How y'all learn? Who taught y'all?
I think I just learned by looking. One dude did it at that time.
Okay.
But we was just doing it in a little vial about this big. Putting a little piece in there so we won't lose nothing.
Yeah.
And we couldn't keep up. Then one day I just went on and put a whole ounce, man, into a Sparrow, the coffee thing.
Yeah.
And that bitch rocked up.
Damn.
And I like, damn, a whole ounce. Then I put 4 ounces in there. And it started getting bigger and bigger, just cutting.
Yeah.
I'm cutting, he's selling. I'm cutting and cooking, he's selling that shit. First thing you know, man, we was rolling, man, with $10,000, $20,000 a day.
Yeah. And you end up getting jammed up and you ended up a long bid, right? You was
Right.
going for how long?
I did 23 in the federal.